Sing with me. We will praise you, O Lord, with our whole hearts. We will show forth your marvelous works. We'll be glad and rejoice in you. We'll sing praise to your name, O Most High. Matthew 21:18-22 says, Now in the morning, as Jesus returned into the city, he hungered. And when he saw a fig tree in the way, he came to it and found nothing therein but leaves only, and said unto it, Let no fruit grow on you henceforth forever. And presently the fig tree withered away. And when the disciples saw it, they marveled, saying, How soon is the fig tree withered away? And Jesus answered and said unto them, Truly I say to you, if you have faith, and doubt not, you shall not only do this which was done to the fig tree, but also if you say unto the mountain, Be thou removed, and be cast into the sea, it shall be done. And all things whatsoever you ask in prayer believing, you shall receive. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith is not based on evidence now, but what will be. That faith, that confidence, that assurance, that trust only comes from God. It is not a human quality. It is a divine quality. And each man has gotten a measure of faith from God. What you do with that faith is a totally different story. I pray today that your faith that you have will increase in the Lord for his purpose and his will today. So, Screen Rant published this on December the 12th, which was yesterday, and I love it. Jason Momoa won't let Warner Brothers distance Aquaman from Zack Snyder, and we all know that Jason Momoa, not but a few days ago, spoke about the Snyder Cut, Jason Momoa, in an interview. It said, if Jason Momoa has anything to say about it, the Aquaman star originally cast in the role by Zack Snyder, that is Aquaman, for a cameo role in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. He was quick to remind people that finding a way of that, and what he means is that Aquaman was linked to Zack Snyder, and finding a way to work it into seemingly every interview possible. It doesn't simply stop at reminding people that Zack Snyder was the one to cast him either. He even went as far to link Aquaman to Arthur Curry's final scene in Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League. This understandably caused a bit of a stir, considering the studio has been quiet on the much-discussed alternate cut of the movie, with sources reportedly only saying they have no intent to release it. But that didn't stop Momoa. When asked about the cut directly in another interview, he threw his support behind it completely, saying, F yeah, I want to see it. It makes sense that Momoa would be such a big fan of Zack Snyder. He's only ever had high praise for the director, especially recently. In fact, it's not just Momoa either. Everyone who's ever worked with Zack Snyder seems to have exclusively good things to say about him, and they're always enthusiastic to say it. In the middle of Comic-Con, Ray Fisher ripped open his shirt and revealed, I love Zack Snyder. He also expressed a desire to see Zack Snyder's cut, corroborating storyboard artist J. Oliver and saying Snyder captured all the footage he needed to make the movie and urged fans to believe on Vero's social network. Why this is so awesome to me is because Aquaman is becoming a commercial success already in China, and more than likely will be a commercial success worldwide. But the fact that Jason Momoa stresses on the Snyder Cut, that all of these other guys, Ray Fisher, J. Oliver, Clay Enos, and so much more, emphasize on the Snyder Cut. And, of course, Jason Momoa clearly said there was a Snyder Cut. Leads me to believe that, it's a beautiful thing when you have so much support for a Snyder Cut. And that's the reason why, as much as I would love to see Aquaman, it looks like a fantastic movie. And I've watched it also, the reviews that certain people who are just negative towards the DCU, they can't find negative things to really say. They try to conjure up negative stuff to say about the movie, calling it a mess and so on. Anytime you hear the movie being called a mess, then, okay, this movie's good because it's probably in a style something like Snyder's sort of way of doing things. And you can see people really wanting to sink the DCU, but they can't in this case because this movie's just so good that when people go to see it, they're really going to be blown away. And so I'm really happy for James Wan. I think he's knocked it out the park, and I'm so happy, that he's done that. Having said that, though, I'm still pushing for the Snyder Cut. I want Warner Brothers to make a definitive statement on it because, from what I've seen, the behind-the-scenes people or the execs or whoever they were, whoever these people were, seemed to be negative on it. And how do we know this? Because Jason Momoa, in an interview with MTV, said he couldn't really say much about the Snyder Cut, and he felt bad about that. And then he said, "Of course, I want to see it, though." So I get the feeling that when it comes to the Snyder Cut, a lot of the actors have to stay mum on that. They can't say anything yay or nay about it. And I'm not too sure if it's some executive up on top, sealing everybody's mouth on the Snyder Cut. But if they don't talk, I'm not paying for any of their films. I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel about it. And so going back to the Snyder Cut, I just wanted to elaborate a little bit more on the storyboarding for the Lois Lane cut scene. And fortunately for us, Christian Long of Sci-Fi Wire, he actually covered this. And we all know about his cameo in there, and this photo here that comes off of the storyboarding. And here is the storyboarding right here, which is fantabulous, right? But what I thought was really interesting was Zack Snyder also revealed that he actually was sitting inside the coffee shop. It seems that he was going to give himself a little Hitchcock in the superhero crossover that he had been able to stay on board as director. Not only is it in a cameo, it's me drawing the scene in a fake coffee shop that represents the real coffee shop. I drew the real scene, he wrote in another comment. In addition to the photograph, Snyder also posted a storyboard for the scene, which follows Lois Lane buying her coffee before walking to Superman's memorial statue, where she arrives. A Metropolitan Police Officer Jerry greets her with, "You don't miss a day, do you?" Says every day since Superman died, she goes to his memorial. Okay, and that was Memorial or Heroes Park. And here's the picture of Lois Lane coming out the coffee shop, Zack Snyder in the background. But what I want to show you guys a little bit more of, which I thought was really cool, was this little behind-the-scenes photo. Here's Zack Snyder right in there, looking at the cameras and stuff. And there is Lois Lane walking off there. That's her. And this is straight out of the storyboard. If you look at the storyboard here, that's the scene right there. Okay? And she's carrying the coffee away here. And there she is there. And I just, one thing I heard a lot of people talk about is that Zack Snyder, he really goes true to his storyboards. So he's like really accurate with the storyboard, which I think is really cool. So this moment here where you see Lois Lane looking sadly at the statue of Superman, and we saw some of these scenes in the actual Justice League movie. That's her here. It's beautiful right there. So some of these scenes actually popped up, especially the scene where she's at the Memorial Park. We saw pieces of those scenes inside of Justice League. So they kind of took snippets of it and put it together in the theatrical cut. And all of this just to come to show, of course, we never saw this scene at all in the movie. I don't know if this is Lois Lane looking up in the sky and seeing Superman. I don't know what it is. But suffice it to say that there really is a need for the Snyder Cut of Justice League. And we had a huge petition. It's closed now. Over almost 180,000 people supported this petition at the time. It's revised now. They revised the petition. And what's interesting about the whole thing, though, is that there's abundant evidence that there's a Snyder Cut. And as someone else was saying, yes, it's not an assembly cut for sure. It's definitely a cut of the movie. There is a cut of the movie. Not all the special effects were done at the time. But literally the movie was chronicled, it was storyboarded, it was run to how it's supposed to be. And so there was actually a cut of the movie, like the whole movie flowing in, just some special effects to do, some a little bit of soundtrack music to tighten up and stuff like that. So, and we know this clearly because we've seen footage of it, quite extensive amounts of footage of it, to know that. Okay, so there really was a cut there. It wasn't finished, but it was a cut. It wasn't an assembly cut, none of that stuff. It was almost done. Clearly, it had to be because, I mean, Zach brought Whedon in to do reshoots, so obviously it was almost done. So my point being this, that there is a almost completed cut out there. I don't know if Zach has gotten a chance to work on it. I don't know what's going on. As we know, Zach has moved out of Warner Brothers and he's now in his own studio, his own place. So I don't know what that means, but for what I know is this. I don't care about any other DC movie except for the Snyder Cut of Justice League. And I'm going to stay that way. I don't really care how Aquaman performs. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be a smash hit and it's going to do well. But quite frankly, I don't care about that. I care about the Snyder Cut of Justice League. And once that is out, I'm interested in anything else Warner Bros. Has shown me. But until they make a statement giving us some sort of assurance as fans that we have been heard and that they are actually interested in pursuing, following up and pursuing Snyder Cut, I'm not putting any more money into their pockets. That's just how I feel about it. And as a principled stand, I wish Aquaman the best of success. I'm pretty sure that's probably going to be the most lucrative comic book movie of this year, aside from Avengers Infinity War. I think that's going to be the most lucrative, especially in this season. In the Christmas season, I think it's the front runner for making the most money. Me, I'm going to go see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That's coming up very soon. I think this coming weekend it's going to be coming up. So maybe me and my cousin and some other people can go see it, depending on how my mom's health is. She's on the up and ups today, so we just want to ride that wave all the way to the end. But in the meantime, this is what is before us. One thing I want to say to everybody is stay positive about the Snyder Cut. And another thing I want you guys to do, some of you guys talk about praying. If you're going to pray, look at what the scripture says. You've got to believe, and you can't doubt. And I have no doubt in my mind that if we apply ourselves, we will get the Snyder Cut. But you have to stay sort of tunnel vision and very focused on what you want. You can't be distracted. A lot of you guys are distracted by, Aquaman and Shazam, and you guys are ready to just disband the Snyder Cut movement for those things. I am very singular in my purpose. We want the Snyder Cut, and that's what we want. After that, we can deal with anything else Warner Bros. Wants to throw at us. But for now, we are focused on the Snyder Cut and the Snyder Cut alone. That's how you have to be. You have to be tunnel vision sometimes if you want to get what you want to get. And so I'm tunnel vision on the Snyder Cut, and you will see more and more videos on the Snyder Cut, and I don't really care about any other movie except for the Snyder Cut. Next year I'm going to be watching Glass for sure, and this year it's going to be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It is a darn fine comic book movie. It literally the animation looks off the charts. I've never seen animation so cool like that since The Matrix, the Animatrix. Animatrix has some really far out there, trippy animation as well. So, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, let's see what they can do with that. Alright? On that note, you guys have a good one.